you so very much, everyone, for joining us here. For this first conversation we're having, focusing on what happened this last weekend in Anambra State, where there had been a governorship election, and today we understand that a winner has ultimately been announced. But you know how it usually is the case in Nigeria. Announcement of a winner does not automatically bring closure to an election. You have those, especially from the opposition front, who would raise concerns, raise the dust, highlight irregularities, in most cases valid ones. But we also want to look at the impact or the implications of all of these developments following the election in that state on our electoral process, how it has become, even though it's an off-cycle election, the basis for us to rethink our electoral process and what more we need to do in order to fix it. I'm joined by James Ugochukwu, who is the Regional General Secretary, West African Society, Civil Society Forum. I'd like to say a big thank you to you, James, for coming on the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. I know you were not physically in Anambra, but of course you have followed the process leading up to the polls itself. Was there anything that came as a surprise to you?
There's nothing very surprising, except that we have the winning party sweeping the whole 21 local governments. So it calls to question if the other people actually prepared at all, for the election. But by and large, we all know that Anambra State always have their focus on APGA as a political party since the past 16 years now, if I'm not mistaken. Right. And I wasn't surprised that the election came the way it is. And another surprising thing for me was the voters' turnout, actually, because the last time the turnout was about 10.6%, which is far, far below national average. And Anambra has a population of about 4-something million people. Right. And during this election, we have a serious turnout up to 21%, about 500-something thousand, which is about 21% of the total registered voters of 2-something million. Right. So I think it's a good omen that they are warming up and removing voters apathy and all that. So I hope that maybe towards other election that is coming up, both in the State House of Assembly, National Assembly, and of course presidential in 2027, we may likely have better voter turnout than what we have now. Because Anambra is known for voter apathy, being a state that people almost are not interested in governance, given their entrepreneurial tendency. They focus more on their business more than anything. But from what we learn now, people are getting interested in politics. At least we'll have more people contesting this time around, including a female contestant. And we are hoping that their victory will now, the vote she has garnered so far will encourage that women to come up to vie for elective position. Of course, we have strong women in Anambra, the likes of Stella Odua, the likes of Ugochukwu. These are strong female political juggernauts that even the aspiring female politicians can look up to.
Right. But let's look at some of the issues that played out before the election across the political divide, whether from the APGA camp or the opposition front. Did you see those issues rubbing off on the election in any case? Because there were those who talked about how that, well, you mentioned that too, that Anambra is traditionally an APGA state. Others said, well, the APC or one of these other parties could just flip that tradition and things like that. Then there was also issues about the governor not delivering on his electionary campaign from 4 years ago. Did those sentiments play into the election?
Well, the thing is, we look at the metrics or the indices you can use to measure performance. Right. For instance, so now a performing governor that wants to vote should be looking at the demography of people that are going to give him or her the vote. So if you treat the demography very well, you're likely going to win. You understand? So Nigerians are sentimental voters, right? They vote according to who, benefited them in the previous year in question. Now, as it is now, some people will say, okay, Soludo performed very well. Some people will say they didn't perform very well. like civil servant will not share that sentiment that he performed very well, that he didn't perform very well.
Right.
I want that to say. Then some criminals now that he went after, that he was destroying their camps and with his new security outfit. They will not say he performed very well. Then the tax system that he brought in place, which is a more transparent and decentralized system, a lot of people will not be happy with it, especially those that collect taxes from the behind. So it's neither here or there, but it's all about appealing to the right demography and doing your best campaign to ensure that you reach out to all those people. Then again, you cap it out to what I keep on saying. Anambra is an APGA state, and it will take any APGA governor to be abysmally poor in performance for any party to come and upstage them in that kind of setting.
Interesting. There is this also the issue of concerns around vote buying and then uneven distribution of security personnel. There had been a, well, if you like, call it press kind of interaction where even the CDD itself, all right, had talked about how that security personnel had not been evenly distributed, that could also have adverse implication on the process and its outcome. Does that point to or indicate any level of unpreparedness?
Well, when it comes to security, we've always been hearing the security organizations or agencies telling you that they've deployed 1 million security operatives during the election, and by the time you get to the field, you discover that what you are seeing is far different from the claim. The reality is completely different from the claim, and you keep asking yourself, where are the security operatives? Is it that they are not equally distributed, or they are not even deployed in the first place?
Right.
So these are the tracking that security tracking organizations should start paying attention to. But by and large, I think why should we even be policing our election in the first place? In other parts of the world, even in Africa here, on election day, you go to polling unit and vote and all that. But because we have a do or die system and the winner takes it all, the stake becomes very high, and a lot of people keep on working towards sabotaging the efforts of the election through any violent means. On a good day, we shouldn't be needing security operatives. And again, another reason I think they could have deployed security operatives could be because of the activity of agitators, separatist agitators. Last time, the IPOB and the like were, accused of trying to sabotage the process. And during that time, we happen to have even people that are hiding under the IPOB agitation to be committing crime, in terms of even using it as a political score and all that. You can remember on the build-up to the last election, the husband of the late
Dora
Akunyele was killed. So the question we're asking is he a politician? The answer is no, he's not a politician.
Right.
He was going to collect a posthumous award on behalf of his
late wife
when he was killed. So you can theoretically or allegedly say that maybe the people that the wife annoyed during her clampdown on fake drug could be carrying out vendetta. So those are the kind of scenario that were painted during that kind of during the last election, to the point that even when we went to election that time, we wanted to pull out from observing the election because the tension was so high. Okay, on one hand, the IPOB is saying that any person that wants to do election, that they are not interested in Nigerian election, because those ones, they don't see themselves
as Nigerians,
so that they are not interested, and they are not interested in disrupting the election. On the other hand, you see some group, so there are counter narratives everywhere. So that one likely made the security operative this time around to deploy more security men to the election. In fact, I saw a video of area surveillance by the Nigerian police on a helicopter, flying around the whole city trying to secure the election. But the point I'm making here is that 60,000 or 45,000 policemen, that's a huge lot. I think we have enough security challenges in Nigeria that such large number of people should be sent to, take care of, instead of one less than 8 hours election, in one particular state. So the security operatives should be able to read the handwriting on the wall, to read the election security scenario, because there are a lot of organizations that gives feedback around this. So when they study it very well, then it will help them to know the exact hotspots to target and the intervention they should put in, instead of deploying such large number of people. Because this large number of people are deploying, we're talking about accommodating them, their welfare in terms of feeding, their remuneration and all that. That's huge sums of money that can be channeled to something else.
Were you again disappointed when you hear about the phenomenon of vote buying that also was alleged to have played out in this election?
It's been vote buying. Sure, vote buying becoming a national disgrace. Actually, it's becoming a national disgrace in the sense that what happened in Anambra is even uncalled for. It's the same Anambra that in the last election, the women of a Benebe community, they refused vote buying. They kicked against vote buying. Some party brought vote gift for them to share money and all that. And they told them, say, look, go away. The last time you gave us money and you promised you are going to do one or two things and you didn't come. So some women in that community, they rejected it. And in the build up to this election, I was even telling somebody that Anambra people, they will not even listen to you if you bring your money for vote and everything. I was surprised that they descended so low that their votes can be bought with one can of malt and one sausage roll and 500 naira. The vote was that cheap, like that. From that amount, from 500 naira to 30,000 naira, that's what I learned that they were sharing. And almost all the parties involved in the election were involved in this vote buying phenomenon. And it's so shameful and it's so disappointing that we have a political class that are now bringing vote buying as a culture in our political system. And the way it is a big view to what is going to happen in 2027, which means that vote buying is going to shape the choice of the people largely if enough sensitization is not being carried out as it is now. Because what the citizens don't know is that immediately you sell your vote, you sell your voice, and you will not be able to hold whoever is getting into the government accountable. And the politicians know this, because once they give you money, then you have been bought off. In the next 4 years, don't ask me what I do with the vote I've bought. And again, the money the person is giving you, you are not asking yourself, where did the person get the money from? If he borrowed the money, he's going to pay back. If the person brought it from his own personal account, he's going to replace the money. If he took it from government coffers, the person has taken the money he's supposed to use in development and share it to you guys for nothing. So I think it's a shameful thing, and I'm hoping that in the build-up to the 2027 election, we'll carry out enough sensitization to enlighten people on the dangers of selling their votes.
Who do we hold accountable for this issue of selling votes? Is it the political class? Is it INEC? Is it security agencies? Or is it the people? I'm asking that because in the build-up to the election, while campaign was still very intense, Governor Soludo himself, then the candidate of ABGA, was said to have told some people during one of their rallies that, look, 1 million for so-and-so or local government or ward, 3 million or 5 million for so-and-so local government or ward. He was promising monetary commitments at that point. Some persons have now interpreted as to be some subtle approach to vote buying. Can we say the political class should altogether be held accountable?
I think the utterance or statement by Soludo is not a subtle approach to vote buying. It's outright to vote buying. Because in line with the Electoral Act, it's an offense to carry out voters' inducement. But he enjoys immunity. He said tenures elapses by March next year, and he's still handing over to himself. So he can enjoy that kind of immunity. But all the people that help him to carry out vote by, they've committed offense. Even himself, if he's in a sane climb, after if he's done, he can actually be prosecuted for vote buying. Vote buying is expressly condemned in our Electoral Act, and it stays condemned. You understand? So the political class, they use this particular vote buying scenario as a weapon, because what they do is to impoverish the people, and weaponize poverty and ignorance. They make it look as if it's normal. That is the place of ignorance. It makes it look as if it's normal for them to buy vote, and they make life difficult for the people through their policies, to ensure that at the end of the day, when they dangle 500 naira before them, it looks like as if it's a big money. Because there are some people who cannot buy their vote with even 50 million naira because they are well-to-do materially or financially and all that. So you blame the political party for this. You also blame the security agencies that at the end of the day, they will see vote buying. At the end of the day, they will not make any arrests. Although I learned that the FCC was in the field during this election, and I hope that they are going to arrest as many people as possible. And not only arresting, prosecuting them to serve as deterrent for other people. Because I was that video of malt, the sharing of malt and sausage roll and 500 naira. That kind of thing, the FCC should, as a matter of urgency now, start looking for those that engage in that thing.
Right.
Their faces and everything is there. They're supposed to arrest them. You can absorb INEC from this. INEC will not tell you to buy vote or not buy vote. So there's nothing INEC can do about this. INEC's job is to conduct election, which is they are doing. So the security agencies, the political party, the people themselves, because the 500 naira, now if you don't collect that 500 naira, what will happen? You will not die of hunger or anything.
Right.
But the more you don't collect it, the more they respect your choice, because they know that, yes, these people are not compromising. And next time they'll be very serious with any developmental issue that concerns you. But if you have sold your vote, even you yourself, you don't have any guts to go and ask questions when these people are in the government.
All right. Time now to look at INEC as the umpire of Nigerian elections. So, James, I want us to look at INEC in this election right now. Professor Amukbito had made a lot of promises right from the day he got craned by the Senate. And he also, amongst other things, had said that, look, under his leadership, elections will not end in litigation. INEC will indeed be the umpire. If you were to rank him on the basis of what we are seeing in Anambra right now, what would be your assessment?
Well, I don't want to go into that because he's just coming in. He came in
It's too early to call results.
2 weeks or so before
the election.
Right. So it would be unfair to be using
Anambra
to be giving him praises or to be using it to condemn him in any way, because I can say that he's not very much involved in the preparation for Anambra election. But by and large, I think the Anambra election, like I said before, in terms of administration of the election now, I think INEC scored very high this time around, even though they still had the problem of early deployment. But the deployment of the opening of polls and all that was just within an average of 10 minutes past 9 o'clock, against 8:30 that the polls supposed to open.
Right.
This is what INEC should be looking at, because for just one single off-cycle election, you are still having problem of deploying men and materials to the polling units as at when it's supposed to open. It's a thing of concern for me. And if you look at it, we are looking at a day that on election day, almost everywhere is going to be shut down. There'll be no movement of people everywhere. The road is very clear. And most of this material I'm talking about are in where INEC calls super rack. So just to move it from there, less than 5 kilometers, maximum 7 kilometers to the nearest polling unit. Then what is the problem? So it's not enough for the INEC chairman to say everything is going to be top notch. He's going to study exactly how INEC works, because INEC is an institution entirely on its own. It's a university that you need to sit down and study how it works before you start making statement that is going to be used against him. You need to work with the resident electoral commissioners, because it's enough for him to make directive. Are they going to carry it to the letter? So if they don't carry it to the letter, how is he going to respond to that in terms of punitive measures and all those things? So these are the things that we should be looking at. But by and large, I think his good intention is fine, and we share in his optimism that everything is going to work well. That's what matters a lot, because all the other leadership of INEC will be looking up to him to see how far he's going to carry out his good intention and his optimism, how serious he is about it in terms of implementation, because that his statement is going to be tested by the system and the people he's working with and other stakeholders. So how firm is he going to be in terms of resolving to do the right thing and ensuring that the right thing is done? So these are the things that we should be looking at in the coming months and years.
We are hearing that there is a review of the Electoral Act 2022 already ongoing at the level of the Senate and all of that. What are some issues you think, if you had your way, should be critically considered in terms of reviewing and amending that act?
Well, there are a lot of issues of concern, but for me, I think the issue of electronic election management system need to be put in place, even though we may not have a pilot approach to it, but let it be a legislation that at least the RF portal we have today now, if we can take it further from being just an ordinary result viewing portal to a computation portal, to help a lot. Because as you can see now, the technology that the past INEC administration brought to put in place, which is electronic management of several result collation processes, has helped in reducing the incident of result hijack. Before, after collection of results, result will be taken physically to the collation center from the polling unit.
Right.
But right now, we have every from ECATA being snapped and uploaded in the RF portal. So you that is going to waylay them to snatch it or all that, you are wasting your time, because the result has already gone to where everybody is seeing it. But you want to take it, we would like the National Assembly to make it a legislation, and that yes, people can see the computation of result on the RF portal as they are keying it in, is computing it, so that people will know the exact computation, because electronic computation has almost next to zero error if nobody is tampering with it, like hackers.
Right.
The another one should be looking at again that could be a good legislation is electronic voting. Although some people say it's not possible, that nobody is doing it in the other part of the world. The fact that they are not doing it in other part of the world does not imply that we cannot start to practice it, and even being the first pioneer of electronic voting, because this will help the new generation to be interested in the voting. Just take for instance most of these TV programs that involves voting. Most of this new generation, before you know it, they will vote. They will vote massively, up to 100 million, which is even more than what we get in our general election. So these guys are ready to vote, but all the factors that their parents are put in place, which is thuggery, election violence and everything, it debars them from going to the polls to vote. Another issue that I would love them to also put in the legislation is that of continuous voters registration. Continuous voter registration as it is now is not continuous in the real sense of the word. So they need to make it a point of legislation to ensure that every single Nigerian that turned 18 can walk into an INEC office anywhere, any day, and get registered to vote. Not that we have a special period open for voting. It doesn't make sense as far as I'm concerned. So if they can make it as a legislation, that's fine. Or if they can see a way they can rope in the National Identity Management System and voter registration, or voter, they can merge both of them together, so that during election, you can match those data together and get people to vote. That will help.
I'd like to say a big thank you to you, James Ugochukwu, for coming to share with us this morning. We appreciate your insights. And that's what we're leaving it with this conversation.